On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people and at all times, and keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Milestones are key events in life. They mark transition. They ask us to pause and to reflect on what led up to them and what's about to come. The Arrow of Light ceremony marks the most significant milestone in a Cub or a Webelos scouting experience. Once every year, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, and Webelos meet around a common campfire. There, we recognize matters of great importance. We perform ritual that's been passed down from generation to generation for over 100 years as Scouters. And we celebrate the core principles that make Scouting strong. Welcome to the Arrow of Light ceremony. The Boy Scout program for more than 100 years has been helping families transition boys into good citizen adults. We give them skills and we reinforce core values like honesty and perseverance and being trustworthy. We guide them through a sea of patches and belt loops and pins and activity badges. We repeat core messages over and over again, and we hope that the boys get it. The bridging in the Arrow of Light ceremony is meant to tie it all together, to show us the proverbial forest through the thicket of trees. The message of the ceremony is typically delivered in metaphor. It is meant to be grand, to inspire an emotion that grabs key messages and internalizes them in a boy's mind. There are some deep messages in this ceremony that are best packaged, consumed, and remembered in a wrapper of, "Wow, that was cool." The symbolism of this ceremony is something that Scout parents want their kids to absorb. In the story of the arrow, which is typically used as a core story in an Arrow of Light ceremony, for example, animals of the earth were equal, and they argued a lot. The bear argued with the eagle, and the buffalo argued with the Indian. Finally, the Great Spirit gathered the animals and spoke to them. "You have argued amongst yourselves about many things. Now, I will ask you one question, and you will have 1 year to think about your answer. I will reward each of you according to the merit of your answer." Well, the animals got pretty excited. They all thought that they could easily answer any question in a year's time. And besides, the Great Spirit was not only wise, but generous with rewards. Was it not the Great Spirit that gave grass to the fields and fruit to the trees? "What is the question, Great Spirit?" they asked. "You must answer me this. What is your most important duty?" And with that, they all left. The eagle flew high into the mountain to think about the question. The bear returned to the deep forest, and the buffalo returned to the grassy plains. The Indian returned to his campfire. And they all began to think about their answer. And 13 moons later, they returned to the Great Spirit. "Eagle," the Great Spirit said, "what is your most important duty?" "Well, my most important duty is to fly higher than anyone else." "For that answer," the Great Spirit said, "I will give you feathers which will help you fly higher than anyone else." And the eagle was pleased with his gift. "Buffalo," the Great Spirit asked, "what is your most important duty?" "Well, my most important duty is to run longer than anyone else." "For that answer, I will give you thick hooves that will allow you to run longer than anyone else." And the buffalo was very pleased with his gift. "Bear, what is your most important duty?" "Well, my most important duty," said the bear, "is to be stronger than anyone else." "For that answer," said the Great Spirit, "I will give you sharp claws so you will be the strongest animal in the forest." And the bear was pleased with his gift. Finally, the Great Spirit asked the Indian, "What is your most important duty?" The Indian stood up and said, "Great Spirit, my most important duty is to help others." "For that answer," said the Great Spirit, "I will give you this stick." And when he saw the stick, the Indian was disappointed. He had thought long and hard about his answer. "Great Spirit," he asked, "why did you give me a stick? Did my answer displease you?" "Oh no," Your answer pleased me greatly. All the others felt that their most important duty was to themselves, and they were rewarded accordingly. But you have learned that the most important duty is to help others, and so you have been rewarded. But what can I do with this stick? This is more than a stick. This is an arrow. With the arrow, you can shoot the strongest bear, the fastest buffalo, or the eagle, no matter how high he soars. He who would serve others is the strongest of all. And then the Indian knew that this was the greatest gift, and he was pleased. Stories like that, they stick in kids' minds. But they're also going to come away with an award, a patch that they can wear. So let's take a look at the symbolism inside the award itself. The arrow, it points to the right, and that's because no good deed is left undone. Get it? It is straight and true, as a scout is always reminded to be. And it flies, because, like it or not, your 10-year-old boy is going to fly on his own, and soon. They're just getting warmed up. The sun represents light. As scouting core principles and the scout law light the way for boys who are growing into solid young men, it also lights the way for younger scouts who clearly see the path that boys have made along their way. There are 7 rays, one for each day of the week. They remind us to do our best every day. Each ray represents a scouting value: wisdom, courage, self-control, justice, faith, hope, and love. Finally, we share this information with you because these principles and core values don't stop being important when the den meeting, the pack meeting, or the ceremony are over. In fact, the messages that your son truly internalizes, they often begin at home, and they're reinforced through activities like scouting. Our role as parents is helping our children effectively deal with the challenges of growing up and refocusing them from time to time on the deeply important stuff. And that is what this ceremony is meant to convey. We hope that you take full advantage of this opportunity. Use the ceremony as it was meant to be used, as a way for all of us to pause, to celebrate the great work that we've all done, kids and parents alike, getting to this point, and to give younger scouts something to look forward to, and to see our oldest group of boys off to their next great adventure, armed with the tools that the Great Spirit meant for them to have.